So, in 1975, my mother and my father got married. 11 years later, they had me.
We've always been asked things like, how do you get started on YouTube? How do you get started in filmmaking? And we don't really have the exact answers to that, but hopefully through our discussions here, you might find some answers of your own. Something very special happened in Minnesota many years ago. My dad got a really nice camera, for the time that is. It shot 720 by 480.
Woo!
And you know, it's the kind of same situation where you have a friend who gets an N64, or I guess it's 2015 here. So your friend gets a PS4 and you really want to play it, and you're like, hey, I really want to play with your PS4. The camera I had 15 years ago was kind of like that. It was like, oh my God, you got one of those cool cameras? Let's shoot some stuff with it. Hey, can I shoot some stuff with it? And before I knew it, we were shooting a lot of stuff with it.
And that was how Sam got his first friend.
That's how I got my first friend. I was like, hey, and Nico was like, hey, can I use your camera to shoot some stuff? And I was like, hey, can I play your N64? That's that.
Then we learned how to build PCs together.
And they peacefully shook hands in the middle of the street.
Sam and I started shooting videos together back in 9th grade. We shot a Star Wars fan film, which finally, after 15 years of hard work, saw the light of day on YouTube.
Yeah, it's crazy. Distribution hell.
And that was kind of the first foray into like visual effects and shooting. And from there, like the summer was spent researching like all the cool programs out there for making videos. And we're like, wait, if you take Photoshop and you draw a muzzle flash on one of the frames and you put that in the video, it looks like you're shooting a gun. Sweet. Transformers, here we come.
Yeah, suddenly, and then apparently airsoft guns were like becoming a thing at that time too. This is like 2001, mind you. Like airsoft guns literally didn't exist before the year 2000. Don't fact check that. But the point is that they were on eBay, and I was like, basically since the 6th grade, I was like a really upstanding eBay member. And then suddenly airsoft guns exist, and I'm like, wait a second. No one knows how old I am on eBay. And the stores won't sell them to me because I'm not 18 yet.
Oh, I remember that.
So then I was like, Desert Eagle. And then we're still high off the matrix here. So got some Desert Eagles and stuff, and boom, suddenly we got some videos.
Boom, just like that.
Reading Sam's like arguments with people on eBay.
Oh yeah, like the from 2000. Yeah, they're still there.
They're really funny. 100% positive feedback. That's a lie. January 1st, 01. Announced it to the eBay community. Recommended AAA+++++. Sam replies, thank you. Next guy. Hope to never deal with again. Watch out, users. Sam's reply, you're stupid. Yep.
I don't know why that would have been a thing. That guy's an idiot.
He's still upset about it. 15 years later.
Yeah.
So Jake actually went to the same school. We just weren't really close friends. I guess Jake was one of those cool kids who didn't mess around with cameras.
Yeah, stupid cameras. No, I was just, honestly, I was friends with like people on my track team and the sports teams that I was on, and that's actually how I came to know Nico, is he did cross-country skiing with me.
Weren't you like the star athlete too?
Well, some would say, but you know, we're talking...
Except for when his brother was on the team.
Yeah. Oh! Hey, I took a couple of his records.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, so the clock quickly turned. Suddenly we met Brandon and we made a bunch of explosion videos.
Brandon went to the same school also. Actually,
yeah.
I knew Brandon before I really hung out with Jake.
And you burned your yard.
No,
Brandon's yard.
Yeah.
Yeah, his
Sam
yard.
burned my yard just a little bit. We burned Sam's driveway. Burned a lot of Brandon's yard.
Although perhaps this is where our paths were meant to cross, because while you guys were shooting videos or blowing things up with Brandon, I was also making Molotov cocktails with my friend Jeremy Krenz. So there's kind of a trade-off there.
Yeah. I mean,
well, once you learn how to control fire, that's where things get good.
You don't get scared of it anymore. You learn to tame it. You learn that really the only power fire has over you is fear.
So wise.
Yeah. So fast forward 4 years through college, just a big blur anyways. We're out in Los Angeles. Jake's like, hey, he calls us up.
Wait, you know how I got in touch with them though, is my mom sent me a newspaper clipping of Sam and Nico in the Hometown Gazette saying filmmakers in Los Angeles, and my mom like had circled Nico's name and was like, you ran cross country with him. And I was like, yeah, why are you sending this to me?
No, I remember, and the photo in the Gazette and the hometown paper, my mom took in her like home photo studio.
Oh, nice.
Of us like going like, holding like this little camera. It was,
HPX.
gosh.
Did you get the point down?
Oh no, that was.
No, it takes a decades to get the point down. I still haven't even mastered. I was just doing a point there.
Guys, if I could direct your attention over there.
This is amateur style.
You determine how good a director somebody is by how they point. So Jake was shooting with us because he wanted to get into this crazy kooky world of making videos without anyone else telling you what to do. Meanwhile, he was going to law school and studying that. He's like, guys, I think you guys need a producer. And we're like, yeah, you could use a producer. Have you ever produced before? Jake's like, nope. We're like, okay, well, come to our next set and we'll go from there. And Jake's like, okay.
Yep.
And that, I think the first like shoot you were kind of like helping on was clock blockers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, in Frozen Crossing, like our first viral video, Jake plays Ghost, aka Spectre. The thing is, like, Jake's actually a really good physical actor, and so we're like, that's pretty cool. You should hold guns in our videos more often. And turns out guns are a theme.
And I said, gladly.
Yeah, although there's a whole kind of like, there's a whole thing you're skipping over. The actual like kind of forming of like some sort of, I don't know. I mean, you can say
it wasn't like
business.
we all showed up one day and we're like, let's like, you know, form a business. It wasn't like that. It was like,
yeah, there was a classic story though that a lot of people know and probably have actually heard out there, which is, you know, we got our start in actual freelance visual effects artists. Yeah, we did that for about a year. During that year, we were also finishing up a feature film we were working on, and basically we put a bunch of time and energy and effort into making this stuff and making ends meet. When we were done, it was like, it's over, we made it. All right, well, no one's gonna see this for about probably a year. We had like nothing to show for the year and a half of work we just put into it. We had worked with Brandon and Freddie on it, and we saw their stuff take off, or see their kind of exploits on YouTube being successful, so we were like, you know what? Rather than wait a year to have someone see some stuff we're making or share that, let's just make YouTube videos, because apparently Google will give you a couple cents on every view or whatever. We just gotta make something that people wanna watch, release it as fast as we can. We're like, all right, screw it. We like video games, let's do Modern Warfare, because that's a popular game, right? Made that, released it, and we had no idea that it would be like, just explosive in how like the response was. So from there.
Time being #1 on Reddit. What you're missing.
Yeah.
what Sam's
Not
being
the only
humble
time.
about and not saying here is that they also had a lot of experience leading up to this. I mean, you guys had done Dark Island, you guys had done Green Side, you guys had shot in a decent amount of stuff, and you were applying that knowledge to this. So it wasn't like you just picked up a camera and shot a video
Yeah.
and that video did really well. You're still applying years of knowledge from when these guys first started filming when they were 14 up until that point. So it's kind of like everyone thinks, oh, how did Ben Stiller and Matt Damon like get their start? Well, they wrote Good Will Hunting. Well, but actually they had done like a bunch of stuff up to that point.
It was Ben
Oh, Ben Stiller, yeah.
Honestly, we had been doing filmmaking and all this stuff, everything from the visual effects to the sound and blah, blah, blah. We'd been doing that for about 9 years before we even touched YouTube. So the thing is that if we were 14, we would be posting stuff on YouTube too, you know, just that it wasn't out. So we'd spent those 9 years making our own funny little videos that we uploaded to FX Home, you know, or the hit film site as it's known right now. So we made YouTube videos for a little bit, and one day this car rolls up on our street while we're like doing stuff, and Ren pops out of the car. We didn't know it yet, but Ren pops out of the car and comes up and he's like, hey guys. I'm like, hey. And Freddie's there and Brandon's there, I'm there, Nico's there. We're all hanging around and Ren's like, hey guys. And we're like, what's up? What's your name? And he was like, hey, I'm Ren.
I want to point out that I didn't show up out of nowhere. I was friends with Henry from Minute Physics at the time, and his channel was like super tiny at the time. He only had a couple thousand subscribers. But he was a VFX editor for Freddie at the time. And we had been discussing just over email like all summer, and I was in town, and it's like, hey, wanted to hang out. And obviously, like, he was here with you guys, and was like, yeah, I'd love to meet you guys too.
Was Henry there?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right, he was.
And then they shot the Splinter Cell video. Well, quick side note. I actually saw Ren in a video that he did for the YouTube Next Up contest. And that's when I actually first saw you.
That little next up thing. Yeah, that video is actually what ended up convincing me to pursue this sort of career at all. Because at the time I was like, I was finishing up an engineering degree, and so it was like, you finish up a degree, you usually go into a career path with that degree. And I was finishing it up, and I kind of realized I didn't really want to do that. I wanted to pursue this other stuff that I had a much greater interest in. And I had no idea if I was good at all with any of this stuff, but I had just enough of a positive reaction to that video and the videos, the small tiny videos I made before that. I was like, you know what? I'll give it the summer. I'll give it like a few months to see if I can make anything worth of, interest.
And some time passed, and we were kind of breaking apart more and setting up our own studio more as Corridor Digital. Ren was, I guess, looking to take part in things. We're like, you know what? This behind the scenes thing's kind of neat. We could build a second channel, etc., etc. Would you mind shooting some behind the scenes for us?
And I remember when you asked me that, this was at VidCon in 2012, and you're like, hey, we're wanting to shoot some behind the scenes stuff. I was like, yes, I'll do it. I'm down. When do you want me to show up? I've got nothing else to do. Because I was like, this is the perfect opportunity to learn.
Yeah, anyways, you made some really solid behind the scenes. The nice thing was that you knew visual effects, so you could make behind the scenes into like visual effects breakdowns, which I think a lot of people really liked.
There's nothing better than seeing something that looks boring and then going like, psych, it's amazing. And then you're just, ah!
I feel like Omen was your big step forward in visual effects.
It was, because that was the first time I was like, all right, I'm going to do all this stuff, I have no idea how to do it, and I have no idea how hard it's going to be. That was both like a bad thing and a good thing. Good thing in that I have no idea, if I had known how hard it was going to be, I probably wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, did I remember watching your rough cut and like, this is going to take you like 4 months, and you're like, I think it'll take 2. 6 months later.
Yeah, it took me literally 6 months to work on. But I mean, I learned how to do so many different things on that project, and that was like, finally I was like, okay, I can kind of do some high level stuff to a certain extent, and I think that's when you guys are like, all right, we can take you in and maybe start learning some more things on top of that.
It's like, no more behind the scenes for you, Ren. So the YouTube Next Up thing was like right back when like people were starting to make a living off YouTube, and YouTube was like, you know what, we could probably encourage this. And so they put together like a grant program where they'd give you $30,000, which is a good chunk of change. The funny thing is, so you have to put on your main channel, like, and we're like, oh, we've already had a year putting out good content on the main channel. I was like, well, here goes, and we put it on the main channel, like try to put it like on a Sunday or something like that at midnight, so like no one would see it. And it hit the front page of YouTube in 2 days. It's like put it into like a random like people and blogs category back on the front.
It went on the front page, guys. For Christ's sakes. Anyway. I'm really bitter about that. It was a really funny video. In fact, we're still using the clips from that video in like our current reel. We were in contact with some people who were about to receive some grants from YouTube to make projects. We were like, oh, here's some cool ideas. There's this one thing called Tether we're working on. It's pretty cool. And there's another thing we're working on called Sync. So here's some cool ideas. And then they're like, all right, let's do both of them. And we're like, yeah, let's do both of them. And then a week later, they're like, okay, we only have enough money for one of them. And they're like, okay, we're gonna do Tether. And like, okay, it's this much. And we're like, okay, we're gonna do Sync, actually. Because that's the only thing we can afford doing it.
That's pretty accurate.
And they're like, does that sound good? And we're like, yeah, it does. So we shook hands, and they're like, cool. You need to shoot that in 30 days. And we're like, okay. So we literally came up with the idea like last week. Are you sure? And they're like, yes. The first episode, you have to shoot in 30 days, and the first episode needs to come out in like about 45 days. We're like, okay, all right, cool. Let's do this. Let's put this together.
Jake was in law school during that time, having to produce this thing in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then all through production while also going to class.
That was my worst semester. They put me on academic probation and they sent me a letter to my old address, and I never got it. And then at my new address, after like I did better the next semester, they sent me a letter signed by the dean saying, congratulations, you've been taken off academic probation. And then I took and passed the California bar exam on my first try.
Obviously, the one mistake that was made is that it was on a monthly release schedule. Dumbest thing ever, never do that. We didn't really have an option, but I don't care. Don't do it. If you want people to watch your show and understand what's happening, don't release it once a month. That's all I'm saying. It sounds obvious.
It's
right?
not that they won't care after a month, they'll just flat out forget it ever existed.
Yeah.
The closer you can get to delivering it all at the same time so that the viewer can decide when they want to watch it and how much they want to watch at a time, the better.
Exactly.
The Netflix model.
Basically, yep.
Which is another thing we have to deal with very soon here with another project.
I don't know if you guys ever realized this, but you guys like literally saved me from moving away from LA by hiring me like full time, because I just finished Omen and I had sunk like pretty much all of my savings into that film, and then I made a video for South by Southwest, and that was like all of the money I had left, and that was like the cheapest video I'd ever made. And after that I was like, I've got nothing, and then you guys, hey, you want to come work on this Far Cry 4 video? I was like, yeah, let's do it, and been working ever since.
Yeah, because basically when you started working on Omen, that's basically when you stopped doing behind the scenes for us.
Pretty much, yeah. I was like,
pretty much everything.
I was trying to do both at the same time, and then I realized if I want this video to come out before the end of the year, I have to work on this like every day, no weekends off, I should say. I worked every weekend, and after 6 months, got that done, and then I guess what was going on the second channel during that time? Not much.
John was working with us.
John was working on it for a while, yeah.
And we were writing Tether, like starting in December, and then through January, February, March, April, May. It's just Tether for us.
That's right. They have finished a feature-length script for Tether.
Yeah.
Just waiting for the budget to come in.
Our first full original script is just sitting there. I think we're going to be doing another feature-length project before that, though.
Hello.
Hey! For those of you watching, Clinton Jones just showed up. The Punisher in the flesh.
Tell us a story about something.
What am I walking into? Come join. What's going on?
He just showed up. He's not mic'd up at all.
Clint, remember when you used to work out of our studio?
Yep. I remember the good old days. I remember playing video games. I remember DayZ. DayZ. I remember archery. Lots of archery.
Oh,
and like the whole like BTS thing was going down. And like the Equinox.
Oh yeah.
Like we convinced Brett that like it was like, or was Brett telling us?
He was telling us that because the planets are aligned. Gravitational pull that you like stand up.
Yeah, because this was 2012.
Yeah, we're like, you can just stand up a broom. And he's like, no, man.
It's the Equinox. It's the Equinox.
No.
Yeah, he was so about that.
No,
son. No,
son.
Did you guys tell the story of the time that we stopped the burglar, that robber?
Oh.
No. We did not know it.
Yeah, we did a reenactment.
But we can tell it again here.
Dude, what is this? What did I walk into?
Well, we were just talking about the origins of the channel and etc. Okay.
All right.
Really
when I
quick.
first met you all was when I came down here to visit for 3 days, and all we did was, I walked in, and like you guys were playing Minecraft. And you were talking about like Minecraft, and I was like, yeah, Minecraft's pretty cool. Like I was like getting into it, but I wasn't really into it. And like I show up and like Sam and Nico are there, and like I remember Jimmy and Freddie were there. Those are the 4 that I remember. But I feel like there were a couple more people there, and maybe like David Welch or something. I don't know.
Brandon once spent an entire week building the Death Star in Minecraft, didn't he?
That's ridiculous. I wouldn't doubt
It was
it.
around the same time.
I wouldn't know. I know exactly.
It's like everyone hit like this Minecraft.
Yeah, and you built this inverted pyramid thing.
Yeah.
It's
So
like, why am I
pretty much-
building it?
Pretty much, everyone was like, "Oh, I'm gonna build like a statue, and I'm gonna build like this castle," and I was just like, "I'm gonna dig a hole." Like I dug this like inverted like pyramid, and it was super complex, and I stayed up all night, and like you guys woke up, and like I was still just like, I dug a hole, like still digging.
Or I think it's like because the free mode, like the edit mode was in there, so you're literally like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was when I met you guys. So.
And you guys shot Shoot Your Friends.
Yeah, we shot that real quick while we were there.
there was a sniper on the roof.
That's fun.
Eating Cheetos.
So, Clint, where do you think YouTube and online digital streaming is going over the next few years?
Whoa. Well, YouTube's all jacked up now.
YouTube is a fantastic platform that is great for jump-starting things, but it's not an eventuality.
I could see,
But like not anymore though.
yeah. I think
It depends.
It's
how
hard.
you are.
It's like really hard now. Like you can't just like. It's really hard to get started.
It's been out for decades, so it's very saturated. With a lot of it.
Oversaturated.
And the only reason, honestly, we're in the position we're in on YouTube is because of when we started.
Well, yeah, obviously
too.
anything that anyone does that they succeed at, it requires a lot of hard work.
I mean, are we even real, or is this a bunch of CG stuff that the government's putting out as propaganda to make you make videos on YouTube? A
What if
wireframe model.
we are just CG renderings,
What-
and
what
there's
if-
someone else
what if we're all-
rendering this?
what if actually Ren was just a CG rendering? He's like a Jar Jar Binks.
That would be so creepy. Like the
We have
one.
another dude. It's just some other random dude in a green screen who we hire, like just come in and sit there, and then like we track in our CG Ren.
And then Ren needs to go do motion capture for the whole interview.
So you guys are done. I got another few hours to work on this.
It's like, guys, can I be a part of this podcast? It's like, only if you render yourself in. It's like,
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know this, but Ren is actually short for render.
Wait, I have a list online of Ren's nicknames.
No, okay, we're not getting into that. We can't do nicknames. Well, there you go. That's the end of the video.
We'll see you guys in the future.
Let us know if you want to see more of these.